6 years is a long time to love someone quietly. They met when they were young, when promises felt infinite and time felt endless. Over the years, they built a life that looked serious from the outside. Routines, shared responsibilities, inside jokes, plans that sounded like forever. And yet, one thing never happened. She never asked why, never pushed, never said, "Everyone else is getting engaged." She waited. Not because she was weak, but because she believed in timing. She believed that when it finally happened, it would feel certain, intentional, deeply personal. She imagined it in small details, his voice slightly shaking, a pause before the question, the silence of a room with no witnesses. So when he began asking questions about ring styles, metals, budgets, something inside her softened. She tried not to get carried away, but hope has a way of sneaking in when you least expect it. A holiday was coming up, a meaningful date. A nice gesture, he said. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to think. This might be the moment. She didn't know that the moment she had protected so carefully in her mind was already being discussed, dissected, and reshaped by people who would soon take up all the space she hoped to have for herself. He wanted everything to be perfect. For him, that meant help, guidance, reassurance, someone to tell him he was doing the right thing. So he told his mother, then his sister. Just for advice, he said, just for support. But the moment the words, "I'm going to propose," left his mouth, the air in the house changed. There were gasps, squeals, tears. The ring was passed from hand to hand like a trophy. His sister clutched it to her chest, already emotional, already acting as if this moment belonged to her too. His mother smiled, asked questions, offered opinions. Dates were discussed. Details were shared. Excitement exploded. What was supposed to be a private decision became a family secret, and then, without anyone noticing, it stopped being a secret at all. They insisted on helping him cook, even though he wanted to do it himself. Instructions turned into commands. Guidance turned into control. Slowly, without meaning to, he stepped back while they stepped forward. By the time everything was ready, the evening no longer felt like his plan. And she, the woman who had waited 6 years, had no idea that her proposal was already being rehearsed by an audience she never invited. The moment she walked through the door, she felt it. Not excitement, pressure. The room was too loud. The smiles were too wide. The energy felt restless, almost nervous. His sister hovered, complimenting her dress again and again, eyes shining with a secret she was clearly struggling to keep. His mother didn't leave, even though this night was never meant to include her. Every instinct told her something was wrong. Before he could say a word, the hints started falling. Careless, obvious, impossible to ignore. "You look so lucky tonight. I wish I could stay and see what happens." And then it slipped out. Not from him. Not in private. Not in love. The question came in chaos, surrounded by noise, hands, voices, excitement that didn't feel like hers. The ring appeared without ceremony, pulled into the light like a spectacle instead of a promise. She barely heard his voice. She barely saw his face. There was no quiet moment, no trembling confession, no space to feel. Only people watching, people cheering, people taking over something that was never meant to belong to them. And in that moment, she realized something she never expected to feel. This wasn't her proposal. Later, when the house finally grew quieter, the excitement still lingered. But inside her, something had shifted. She looked at the ring on the table and felt distant. It wasn't about the ring. It wasn't even about the proposal itself. It was about the absence of choice. She had imagined this moment as a pause in the world, a breath shared between two people who chose each other without an audience. Instead, she felt like a guest at someone else's celebration, smiling because everyone expected her to. His mother stayed, his sister stayed longer. They talked, they laughed. They examined the ring from every angle, as if it were the most important thing in the room. She noticed how easily her presence faded, how the conversation moved around her instead of toward her. She began to see the pattern she had ignored for years. How often decisions were discussed with them first. How often boundaries blurred. how often family quietly stood between them. That night wasn't just overwhelming, it was revealing. And somewhere between the noise and the forced smiles, she understood a painful truth. If she said yes now, this is what forever would feel like. That night, when everyone finally left and the house fell still, she didn't feel relief. She felt clarity. She sat with him in the silence and gently pushed the ring back across the table. Her voice didn't shake, not because it was easy, but because she had already made the decision. She told him she loved him, that she had waited, that she had believed in them. But she also told him the truth, that the proposal didn't feel like it belonged to her, that it felt crowded, managed, and taken over, that she never wanted a moment like that. Not with his mother watching, not with his sister leading, not with her voice drowned out. She said she needed to know that when he chose her, he would choose her first, before everyone else. He was hurt, confused, quiet. But she didn't take the ring back. Because sometimes love isn't saying yes to what you're given. Sometimes love is saying no, until it's given the way it should be.